Good morning, folks. It's Cynthia here with your daily tarot card. Um, Today, this week, I'm using the Sacred Circle Tarot from Anna Franklin and Paul Mason. It's published by Llewellyn. I'll write it up in the description box, so if you're interested in looking for it, you can most definitely find it. Today's card, the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups. Today can be a refreshing day. There could be a release of something from the past. It's a release or a let go, or leaving the old behind and moving on to the new. However, at the same time, this has like a fresh flow energy to it. It's almost like maybe something that you've been working on, or a healing journey that you've been doing. And maybe it's popped up recently in your mind, and it could be one of those things where it wasn't really stopping you, but it was like, itching your brain. like, wow, why did I have a dream about that? Or, oh my gosh, I haven't seen that person in forever. And then all of a sudden, I see that thing in the news feed, on social media, or, I was cleaning out a closet and I came across a thing and it reminded me of a thing and a person or situation or time of my life or what have you. And it's not so much like it's really, because maybe you've been working on it. Maybe you've been working on changing your stories, or healing from something that happened in the past, or, forgiving and letting go of certain things, or just like releasing energy patterns, releasing behavior patterns, and things like that. And it's almost like if there's been something that's cropped up in your memory and in your feeling, and you're sitting there going, my God, I haven't thought about that in ages. And I remember when I used to be really upset about that. But, I've worked really hard on letting that go, and I let that thing go ages ago. So why is it creeping up again? Am I afraid of something? And do I still have residual buried emotions about it? Is it still trying to attach itself to like a limiting belief, or a false story that I had thought that I had rewritten? And I feel like this energy actually comes up to say, you did learn that lesson. You have integrated that lesson. If it's attached to something in particular that, again, has sort of creeped into your awareness or come up in your memory for whatever reason, for whatever circumstance, and you're kind of like, wow, that's, triggering, or that's weird. This is almost like that fresh breath of fresh air. Like, wow, that's finally behind me. I don't feel about that the way that I used to. And that's actually a good thing. That's refreshing, because what that actually means is you have integrated the lesson and released the teacher, so to speak. Whatever situation taught you that, whatever person or relationship taught you that, whatever mentor or guide or support network helped you through the healing journey. You've done all that. And so for whatever reason, at this particular junction, It's coming up more so just to let you know, hey, remember me? Yeah, I remember you, but I don't feel the same way anymore. I've attached a new story. I've attached a new idea. I've healed through and released and let go. And wow, that's awesome. Yay me. And pat yourself on the back and let it go again. Because again, it's that refreshing, cleansing, purifying. Wow, I really did do the work. The internal work, the external work, both and. I did that. Good for me. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to be afraid of it. If I clean out a drawer, I can declutter those knickknacks from that period of life, or I can keep them and remember the fond moments instead of remembering maybe how that phase ended in my life. Or, you know, it doesn't have to shock me or bother me if I see something from that person on social media, or if I encounter somebody who's like that. I know where my boundary is. I've learned my lesson. I don't have to deal with that anymore. So there's something where you're actually having that breath of fresh air. It's that refreshing renewal type of a moment of pat yourself on the back and recognize you did do the work. You did let this go. You did heal from this, and it does not have to influence you in the same way anymore. So, noticing your initial response, which could be quickly followed by your typical trigger response, the familiar response. And you could say to yourself, don't berate yourself thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't do it. I still feel blah, 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 blah. Take a few minutes. Take a couple of deep breaths. Maybe take 8 deep breaths. And stop and say, do I really feel that way still? Not trying to figure it out with your mind, because your mind will give you reasons to still feel hurt or to still feel mistrust or whatever the case might be, right? Your brain will find reasons if you look for them. But what you have to do is recognize that in this moment, there's that question of, I did do a lot of work healing this. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Maybe it does still hurt. Maybe I don't feel the same way about it that I used to. But either way, I can let it go. I can flow through this. I've integrated the lesson. I've learned it. I'm done. So give yourself some space just for a moment, not to go digging, not to wallow or anything like that, but to actually recognize where you're really at and pat yourself on the back and let it go again. And sooner or later, you will have washed it so many times that it won't be there anymore. Yeah. So there could be residuals that come up for whatever reason. And it's really just to give you that moment of recognition, recognizing who you are now, how you feel now, what your life really is now, and that whatever this thing is doesn't really have to be a part of your story as such. It can just be tacked on to I'm a bookworm, so I read a lot of books. So it's not so much about that book that taught me that lesson. It's about that stack of 20 books in that category taught me a lesson, but I don't have to remember every one specifically by title or author. Maybe only my favorites, maybe only the really inspiring and good ones, but the ones that were I don't have to hang on to them. I could be like, yeah, I read that book. What of it? It contributed to my knowledge base, but it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't overly awe-inspiring, or, you know, I didn't like it. I understand what the author was saying, or I understand the storyline, but it wasn't my favorite, and let it go, right? We can do the same thing with whatever situation teaches us something in life, not just books, right? A relationship, a person. Oh, there was a time where, you know, we always have particular kind of relationships. We always engage in particular kinds of relationships, personally, at work, with family, this, that, the other thing. And we can kind of relegate it to a categorical past that we don't have to hang on to the individual stories from. We can say, that taught me, my family taught me this during my childhood or my adolescence or whatever, or, that situation that we went through in our history, or, the the person or people that I dated in college or right after college, or this, that, the other thing. Those relationship patterns. The It's a group, you have a lesson, but you don't have to keep going back over that one specific, right? Because you categorize it as, there was that thing, there was that life lesson, I finally got through it. So something could come up today or has come up recently, and you're going to have that moment for the aha. And again, if something comes up and tries to trigger you, take those 8 deep breaths and give yourself a moment to be like, wait a minute, done that, or been there, done that, got the t-shirt, decluttered the t-shirt, done. You know what I mean? So, really giving you that breath of fresh air to move forward. I'm wishing you a wonderful day. I certainly hope that that you enjoy this, and that you do pat yourself on the back, because you have come far, and it is safe for you to move forward. Peace and blessings. See you tomorrow.